blogging in general, the way most people have been doing it in recent years, is dead. That's just the very harsh reality of things. The way that they're doing things is actually simply irrelevant. And I promise you this, if you continue to do things the old way, your blog is going to die a very painful and slow death. You see, people have been saying that blogging has been dead for, 10 plus years. But there's actually great news for those of you that want to start a blog and actually make money from it. Blogging is not dead. In fact, it's never died. It just changed a little bit along the way. And if you want to stay relevant and have a successful blog, you're going to have to adapt and change too. So that's why in this episode, I'm going to teach you exactly what is dying in blogging and how you can stay ahead of the curve so that you can have success in both the short term and the long term. So let's get started. Hey, what's up everybody? Karma Cashflow here, and today we are talking about blogging. Now I know some of you out there are actually really super skeptical and maybe even asking yourself, do people even still read blogs in 2020? Well, if you look at the facts, all right, there are over 1.5 billion websites on the planet, and 500 million of those are blogs. And Google has over 100 billion searches per month, and 77% of those people searching are reading blogs. That's a ton of people reading blogs. So no matter what the internet gurus out there are telling you, blogging is still super relevant and important in today's society. There are more people blogging right now than in the entire history of the internet of people blogging. So let's talk a little bit about what you need to stop doing on your blog, because if you don't, your blog is going to suffer massively for it. Number one is posting a ton of content on your website in hopes to get more traffic. One of the oldest practices there is in blogging is that people would post just a whole bunch of just absolute randomness, verbal diarrhea, or in this case, written diarrhea in their blog, and posting just a ton of content on their website in order to get a lot of traffic in hopes of making more revenue, more money with all of their posts. But unfortunately, I have to be the one that tells you that is dying. In fact, it's probably on life support right now. This used to work really, really well when the internet didn't have a ton of information and there wasn't a bajillion blogs out there vying for your attention. So Google and Pinterest and Bing and all the big search engines out there are looking for posts that actually stand out from the rest. What I like to call long form content that stands out and completely captivates the person's attention. That's what they're looking for. In the past, you could post just about anything you wanted on any topic and it was okay. There could be 100 random posts and Google was eating it up. But now you kind of want to take all of those 100 mediocre posts and narrow it down to a single post that has amazing content. High quality is much better than quantity in this particular case. I personally don't like to post anything on any social platform, whether it's my blog, my podcast, on YouTube, whatever the case is, unless that content is actually good, all right, or awesome content. No mediocrity here. So again, you need to focus more on quality, not quantity for your blog posts. So if it takes you a little bit longer to publish one, that's okay. In fact, 𝐵𝐸𝑆𝑇 actually only has like 40 different posts on it, and they are a huge website that people go to for SEO content. They're not posting hundreds and hundreds of blog posts, all right, that are mediocre at best. They're doing maybe one post a month that is absolutely insanely good. And that's what you really want to do in your blog posts, is make really good content. I actually saw a really kind of famous marketer here recently, and I'm not going to mention any names, with a blog on his website that was ridiculously bad. He would make these, 3 to 5 minute videos, and he would put them up on Facebook and on Twitter and on Instagram and so forth, and then have those videos transcribed and put onto his blog for what he called Google juice. And these were terrible blog posts, mostly looking like what would come out of some random dictation software. It was bad. Don't do that. Now, I'm not saying not to transcribe your videos or your podcasts or anything like that and use them as blog posts. That's not what I'm saying here. What I am saying is that if you're going to do that, number one, make sure that it is readable. Right? There's a lot of dictation softwares and a lot of services out there that'll transcribe your videos or audios and put them into text. That's cool, but you have to check them first. Don't just copy and paste what those things spit out and put them up on your blog. It's going to be virtually unreadable. And two, make sure that the content is actually halfway decent, right? Don't make it so that it's, mediocre at best. That's all I'm saying. Not just a bunch of randomness and off-track thoughts in order to get Google juice. All right, so number 2 is clickbaity type headlines. Stop. Just stop. No one likes clickbait. It pisses people off. And Google doesn't like it either. Google has figured out, in the past few years, what you're doing. And they will literally penalize you for it. So just stop doing it. Provide some real good headlines that people will click on that actually have something to do with your content. All right, so number 3 is personal blogging. All right, personal blogging is dying. There was a time at one point in the past where people would voluntarily follow other people's lives, getting to know their stories, getting to know their families, what they ate for dinner, and all that stuff by following their personal blogs. But not many people are following that type of content anymore. It's pretty much dead. The reason that it's dying is because that's what we call entertainment media. And entertainment media nowadays is primarily over on social platforms like Facebook and Instagram. So it didn't necessarily die. It just got moved over to things like Facebook and Instagram because the content is more easily consumed over on those platforms. So instead of blogging about things like what the kids did at the park that day or your 2:30 lunch, I believe you need to educate people on a topic that you know a lot about. And here's why I think that. When people go onto social platforms like Facebook and so forth, they are going to be entertained to get away from their daily life, to get away from the grind. But when people go over to Google, where most blogs are going to be found, they go for information, not to be entertained. Number 4 is general blogging. While in some cases general information might be okay, for blogging it's really not. At least not if you're a 50-person company with millions of dollars to spend on advertising. You need to be a bit more specific. Let's take blogging about camera equipment, for example. There is that rare occasion that a general blog about camera equipment might work, but generally speaking, it doesn't. Instead of being general and generic, try to niche in just a bit. If you do have a camera equipment blog, try to niche down just a little bit, like maybe a Canon equipment blog, right? That's niched down just a little bit more. Or best camera equipment for vloggers. That's even niched down even more. Or how to take the best macro photography with Sigma lenses. Or just how to take the absolute best landscape photography with a certain type of equipment. All of those work much better than just a camera equipment blog. People want specific blogs. They don't want anything in general. If I had a brain tumor right now, I wouldn't want to go and see a general practitioner, right? I would want to go out there and find the absolute best, oncologist that specifically deals with the exact type of brain tumor I had. And people out there looking for information that your blog has, they're going to want that specificity as well and are going to want specific answers to their questions. All right, number 5 is only blogging. In today's day and age, just sticking with one particular platform will literally break you. You kind of need to be everywhere so that people recognize you and recognize your content. You need to be in front of their face, front and center. People want a variety of ways in order to connect with you, whether it be just hearing you over on podcasts or seeing you on videos, or maybe it's reading through your blog. They want a multitude of ways in order to connect with you. It's about building that relationship. Me personally, I've got my blog. I have a YouTube channel. I have a podcast. I'm over on Facebook and Instagram and even a TikTok channel. I didn't start out doing everything, but I'm doing a lot more now. The more options people have to connect with you, the better. You have to put out content where your customers actually are and the way that they like to consume content. Me personally, I like to read. I like to watch videos. I like to listen to audios like podcasts and so forth. But if I had to choose one particular way to consume content, it would be videos, right? Up on YouTube and so forth. I personally, that's the best way that I like to consume content. So if you're a content creator and I'm your ideal customer, you're going to want to show me videos just as much as your blog posts. And even better, if you embed videos or podcasts inside your blog posts, even better. All right, so let's recap everything that we've been through so far. All right, number one is posting a ton of diarrhea content on your website in hopes of getting traffic, in hopes of making a better income. That's not what you want to do. All right, post good quality posts. Number two is using clickbait type headlines. All right, don't do it. Just stop right now. Learn a little bit of what we call copywriting in order to get better headlines. All right, you don't need clickbaity type headlines. All right, if you have good content and people know that, and you're giving just a little bit of information in the headline on what they're going to read, you're going to get traffic. It doesn't have to be clickbait. Number three, personal blogging is dying. All right, so if you're that type of blogger and you want to do that, okay, but add some education into it as well. Number four is general blogging. All right, people want specific things, specific actions, specific answers to their questions and interests. All right, stop doing these general blogs where you're trying to please absolutely everybody. It doesn't work. Try and understand who your ideal customer is. When you understand that ideal customer, only write for them and be specific, all right? What questions would they ask? Answer those questions. And number five, only blogging, all right? You've got to get out there. You've got to do things besides blogging, all right? Get up on Facebook, get up on Instagram, and do some other things, not just posting your blogs up on those platforms. That's not going to work. But maybe take a little snippet out of your blog and post it up on Facebook. Maybe take a quote out of your blog post and put it up on Instagram with a nice picture. Something like that. All right. You want to be kind of everywhere. But in my recommendation, I would choose one other platform first to start off with. Maybe it's Facebook, and you can post a little bit of what the blog post is with a link over to your blog post so that they can finish reading. All right, or maybe it's Instagram. Maybe you want to take some really nice pictures and put a quote card together and post it up on Instagram every day. And I'm not going to get into exactly how much to post on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or anything like that. Not in this particular episode. You really want to be as many places as you can because that's where your customers are. And again, they want to consume content the way that they want to consume content. All right, so that's all I've got for you today, guys. If you like this video, please go ahead and smash that like button, hit subscribe, and we will see you next time, guys. So take care. Peace.